What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Random Robber edition as I give you another intro 2.0 as I call it, to this whole Discus series. I feel that the one that I did before wasn't that great. As I was progressing in my video uploads, I was kind of feeling as though I was not very informative about what I was trying to accomplish with this whole series. So I actually went back in my videos and I took a look at it, and I just said, no, the content's not good, it's not entertaining, it's very draggy, it's not concise. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. I've got notes this time in order to successfully and efficiently get you the information that I'm trying to give to you, cascaded onto you, if you will. And I know I don't have time in the day to do things that I don't need to be doing or want to be doing, and neither do you. So in my future videos, another reason for this video was to also inform you of the type of content that I'm going to try and keep up with and create. In that the one before was very draggy, and this one's going to be more concise, but I'm not going to do jump cutting. I don't like jump cutting. That's something that I'm not an advocate of, in that it doesn't give you the true experience of the individual, and it kind of enables the individual who's creating the content to be less integrated, if you will. Like their integrity is not, I mean, not to say that they're bad people, or not to say that they're, frauds, but
what a joker.
I think whenever you can deliver your message and articulate it without having to cut things up and be very quick about it, I think it deforms the experience of the individual experiencing the content, and it also falsifies the individual that you're seeing. So I'm not a personality, I'm not monetized, I'm not anything. I'm just a normal guy trying to tell you about my fish story, and actually trying to make it a diary and document my entire journey. And I want to make it entertaining. I want to actually make it just to where I want to look back at this and enjoy it and share it with my friends and stuff. I think that's something that's really cool. I'm not a videographer. The video camera that I have right now is just a little Canon, call it a dad cam. It's one of the old school ones, and it's, I'm working with nothing here really. I don't have lighting or anything. The lighting's not that great, but I got the tripod that was 15 bucks on Amazon, like everybody else gets their stuff on Amazon. I have an equipment list in one of my other videos, I think, but I can link it down below. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, so everything that I'm giving you, take it with a grain of salt, and understand that I'm not paid by anybody to do anything. I'm just a person passing on the information, and I'm using sources like, Aquarium Co-Op. This is one of my biggest sources. Corey, he's an awesome cat. If you haven't checked out his video, his link's going to be in the description below, with his channel and his store and stuff. He's a really cool cat. He's revolutionizing the industry and the aquarium hobby experience as we speak. I mean, he's really a down-to-earth guy who's got a corporate reach with a down-to-earth morale. So he's a really cool cat. I'm just advocating him because he's helped me a lot, and he's an individual that I've passed judgment on, and he's a reliable he's a reliable source, and he's also a source that has the best interest of the hobbyist at heart, not his own. So he's a really good guy, and in order for you to validate that judgment that I'm giving you, I need to give you a little context of myself. So this is me today, 32 years of age, in my own home, just bought my house. I was able to get my aquarium. That was the only reason I was able to get this aquarium, really, was because I knew I was moving out of my parents' house, and I really wanted to get back into the hobby, because I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube, which maybe you did to get to this video, but it's okay. As long as you use this information to improve your life by modifying your perspective in a positive way. So don't just make this a means to an end. Don't just let it be a fragmented piece of time. If anything, grab something from this video. I'm gonna try and make it short and concise. So no more jump cutting. I'm gonna try to keep on track with these notes and my actual notes right here. Check it out. I'm actually really working on it. I'm not a broadcaster by any means, but I decided to go ahead, and my sister and I, we had this interview at our house, and they asked if I had a whiteboard, and they used it like that. So I got that idea from that incident. Oh, hold on. Let me. There's the nice $15 stand or tripod from Amazon. But hey, you get what you pay for. And like I said, I don't get paid to do this. This is just something that I'm sharing with the world, and I'm actually going to be a lot more careful with what I put out there, and be a lot better at advocating and putting the principles that I believe in into my work. So as far as that goes, I'm no editor by any stretch of the imagination, but I can make some videos. I can put things up like pictures whenever I'm going to refer to them, like you know, my fish when I talk about them later in this little documentation right here. When I talk about my imbunas, and I talk about the red parrot fish that I kept for 5 seconds, and then I talk about my mollies that I kept as a kid and everything. So that I can do those simple things, but as far as making really cinematic scenes and stuff, I can't really do that with this, and I don't have the time to learn and keep up with that program. Resolve is what I use, by the way. It's a very simple program. It's free and it's basic for what I need. That's one of the that one is very known for their color enhancing. So if that's what you're into, that may be one of the video programs that you use in order to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish here in a very complex manner. But anyway, let me get back to the mission at hand. As I was saying, so I began my journey whenever I was about 7 or 8 years old. My father bought me an aquarium from Sam's Club, I believe it was. It was a little 1.5 gallon hexagonal aquarium with an underground filter and pink rocks, you know. And one fish I remember getting a couple fish. I've been making a timeline of this other thing for this other project. But anyway, that's just what I think, and I'm gonna get back to the time that I spent in my life whenever I was 7, 8 years old. Well, actually, yeah, and then no sooner after that than the sun will rise tomorrow. I got my 10-gallon tank, and once I got that when I was 7, 8, and I got that little tank, oh man, I really enjoyed it. I had the guppies, I think, in there. I know I got a bronze Cory cap, because my dad was legendary for that. He always wanted one of these things. Whatever I got in every one of these tanks for the 2 consecutive tanks after that, he got one of those. And unfortunately, I was not informed or aware of, man, this whole YouTube thing changed the game for me. That's why I'm with the Discus right now, and also my past, which is what I'm going over. But I wasn't aware of their habits and their natural tendencies. I wasn't aware of their intrinsic nature to shoal and be with other ones. So they say to get, you know, at least 6 of them together. I believe it, because it's awesome to see them together and actually looking for food. I've yet to feed them, because I wanted to show it on camera a little bit, but I'll probably feed them a little bit while I'm doing this video, because it is going to be a little long. I'm sorry, but it's going to be concise, and it's going to be very it's going to have substance. So bear with me. It's going to be entertaining as much as I can make it with the limited editing skills that I do have, but I will be using little diagrams and doing the whole, you know, put the picture up, take the picture down sort of deal. And that's just the way this is going to go. So just to give you the substance, if you'll bear with me for these next few minutes, it's going to make the rest of these videos that I'm going to upload a lot better, and I think you'll take them in a better light. So as I was 8 or 9, I got a 10-gallon tank. Soon thereafter, that 1.5, I said, dude, this is what I like. I really enjoy looking at the fish. I really enjoy my fish. I just got this bar stool, and I'm able to, as of now, I got the 10 gallons whenever I was 8 or 9. And in there I had mollies, I had a rainbow shark, some plecos, some gouramis, and I think I had a couple of tetras. I had some rosy barbs, I had some black skirt tetras. Man, I I had the smorgasbord of community fish, and that lasted a little while. And then a couple years later, my dad came home with a 29-gallon because I was really getting into this hobby. And at that, I still kept a community tank. We still got one corridor like my father always wanted. And after that, it was kind of my thing. My dad kind of just let me take the reins, and I kept the fish. For the 29-gallon, I'll predominantly change the water, and I did all that. I didn't know much back then. I used to, clean my filter media, my biological media with all the bacteria with just regular sink water, which is a big no-no. And I'll get into it later. That's just to go to show where I've come from. I'm here now, but I've come from here. So I'm trying to portray that with this information, giving you these factors in order for you to make a conclusion, draw a conclusion, and therefore act the way you will whenever you watch my videos later on, which is hopefully in a light that is going to make it better. I mean, that's better than in the light you're in now. So with that, at 13, 14, I got a 55-gallon, the standard 55. I think it's 12 inches deep and 4 feet long, just like a lot of us do. And I said, man, I dig that. I'm not sure about the height, but it's not as tall as this. I think it's 18 inches. This is a 22-inch tall stand, I believe. I mean, tank, I believe. I'm not too sure. Don't hit me with the book on that, but I'll correct that, or it'll be right here actually, just so I don't look. I'm gonna look it up whenever I edit it. And so I like this tank, which is why I'm gonna get a tall 120, but the other one was smaller, standard tank, real cheap, not much more expensive than a 29-gallon. So my dad got me that, and in that tank I went nuts. I said, oh my goodness, I want to get the big fish. I want to get the ones that eat other fish, like perhaps a lot of other little boys wanted. And so I got the fish that they're probably not supposed to be selling. I got the Oscars, I got the clown knife, I got a green terror, I had a Texas cichlid, some convicts, I had some big plecos, I had a big arowana that jumped out of the tank one time. He lived, we put him back in the tank, but it was pretty hilarious whenever my parents were, my sister and my mom woke me up to get him. I mean, poor dude, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kept him in that tank. A 55 is no home for an arowana. It's too narrow. If you're gonna keep something like that, my opinion is 18 inches deep or more, okay? It's torture to make them have to do that, So anyway, that was where I was at. That's not where I'm at now. So I really enjoyed keeping those fish. I enjoyed feeding them fish. I did not take care of them very well because they were pooping a lot. I didn't have all these at the same time, mind you, but there was definitely one time in my life whenever I had a 55-gallon tank. I think it was a 55. I'm pretty sure it was this 55, and I had a clown knife that was bigger than this paper for sure. I had two Oscars, and the arowana, he was big. He was probably about, when I got rid of him, he was definitely 16 inches. He was definitely a keeper's trout. So you get the picture. I'm sorry, I was not the guy to be keeping fish. I was not the little boy to be keeping fish. My dad, like he said, he just let me take the reins. I went to the aquarium store, I wanted this, I said I can do this. You gave me a book. Back then we didn't have YouTube, we had books. So I had a book that I would read, and the Oscars would stick out to me, and the Rams. I actually kind of fulfilled my childhood dream by getting these Rams. I got a male and a female, Alf and Ace, and that was really cool to get them. I recently bought them. I'm actually going to show a video. I'm going to upload a video pretty soon. After this video, I was eager to get this video out so I can just kind of splurge out all the other content that I have coming. And anyway, I have a video of them being introduced, because Alf was introduced after Ace because of a situation. I bought Ace and her initial mate together, but he died for some reason in quarantine, and she lived. So she came in here, and then I found this guy at 360 Aquatics over there on the northwest side of Houston, and he's a gorgeous specimen. I call him, his name's Alf, almost like Alfalfa from the Little Rascals. I don't like naming my pets after people names. I just don't dig it. And my girlfriend kind of is okay with it, I guess, to some degree. But I just call him Alf because he almost, I mean, you can kind of refer back to that other little character, Alf. Whenever I was, little, he was kind of scary looking, but he was pretty cool. But anyway, another tangent, I'm sorry. But that's awesome. I gave my dad this book, or I didn't give him the book, I just read it and I gave him the information from my head. And I said, I want this one, this one, this one. I read I can put these here, pH, nitrates, nitrites. I didn't know what the hell that was. That was a big mistake. So later on in my life, whenever I had this 55, after all those fish got big, I mean, they were already big, but I just kind of got tired of them and they were just not doing anything in my tank. They were just existing. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of them. So I went to Timo's. That's where I got all my fish from. Whenever I was younger, that was a store to go to, right there on Telephone and almost Dixie, right here on the southeast side in Houston, Texas. And I went there and I traded him. I gave him my clown knife. I don't think I gave him my Oscars. The Oscars went somewhere else. One of them, I think I let go in the bayou. My bad. He was dying, and I don't know. I just didn't want to. I should have probably just euthanized him, putting him in some brine water, cold water. But I didn't think about that at the time. I was a kid. I was, very, very not irresponsible, just unaware. So my dad just said, "Let's go take him to the bayou." I said, "Sure, why not?" Just like people in Florida did, but evidently I didn't know, and I didn't know that they were going to be invasive. Like I said, awareness, awareness, awareness. Everything. That's why I'm trying to make you more aware of the individual that I am. Okay? So that was all that. Like I said, I had given all my fish to Timo, and that day I cleaned my tank top to bottom, and then I cleaned my filter top to bottom. I had to hang on back a whisper filter, the double cartridge thing. Clean those suckers out, put brand new carbon. I mean, the thing, it was clean. Little did I know, I was destroying what was gonna keep my fish alive. So I bought those things the next day, unaware. That day that I took my fish, I took him all my fish, and he said he let me pick out a little group of African cichlids. I said, I want to keep African cichlids. Let me choose them out right now, and then tomorrow I'm gonna pick them up. And he said, cool. He was cool with it because we had an ongoing relationship. I always bought fish from him, and he knew who I was. So cleaned the tank, went back the next day, bought the things. He didn't say shit to me about what I did. Like I said, it was that kind of world where people just, hey, all right, put this stress zyme in there, and then put this stress coat, and you're good. It's instant cycle right there. No, it is not. Anyway, I didn't even put stress zyme. I didn't put the quick start from API. I didn't put anything. I just put the water conditioner, and yeah, the next day, dead. All of them, man. They were barely surviving. I said, what the hell is the problem? So I cleaned the water out. I changed that. And some of them lived, I think, because I woke up the next morning and a lot of them were just jacked because I heavily stocked it. So it didn't take long for that ammonia to spike, and it fell to the demise of my ignorance. So, which I am no longer ignorant, which is why I was able to step into this game, which it's not a big league per se, but it's definitely not a beginner fish. So after that, I got another tank probably whenever I got rid of that 55. I didn't want it anymore. Probably around 15, 16. I was partying in high school. I didn't care about that thing. So my mom was upset with it. It was dirty all the time. I got rid of it. Boom, pushed it out of my life. Then at around 19, 20-ish years old, I bought a 75-gallon tank. I would say probably about 2021, because I looked at the YouTube video, this is a video that I'm talking about, I was talking about earlier, that I'm kind of ashamed of, not ashamed of, but just a little cringed out about whenever.
Alright, this is my 75-gallon tank, African cichlid, peacocks.
Mostly Malawi. This guy's a hybrid. This is the prettiest. This is my prettiest male in the tank, the dominant male. Soon to be breeder. I'm about to buy him some females so he can start making me some dough.
Anyway, that is how that went. Whenever I was 75 years, whenever I was 75 years old, whenever I got a 75 gallon, after that, I got a red parrot, and I think I got 2 red parrots with that. And whenever I bought it on Craigslist, I was unaware about the silicone, keeping, making sure, what is what in order to validate the purchase of this tank. I just said, hey, it holds water. He said, yeah, it has water. I went to check it out. It was there. I said, all right, good. It came with a canister filter and everything. Changed the game up. It was it wasn't a Sun. It was a very, very cheap canister filter that I'm glad is no longer in my life. And I just ran that with African cichlids, which was that video that you saw. And after that, I soon got rid of it because I was just partying and out all the time, and my mom complained about it again. And I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna let my mom get super upset about it. I'm just gonna get rid of it. So at about probably 23 years old, 24 years old, that didn't last very long. I got rid of it, and I stayed out the game for 7-8 years. And I got back into it because I was able to convince my parents that this was the exact same footprint as the 75 gallons that I once had, and it wouldn't take up more space, so we could accommodate it just like we did that one. The 120 I got, that's a big footprint. That one is pretty significant when it comes to putting it somewhere and making sure that it fits. So that's accommodating. But this one I was able to use the logos on them and persuade them for the few months that I was with them to let me get this, because I wanted to start this tank at my parents' house. I didn't want to get my fish, I didn't want to get my discus until I got here, but I definitely wanted to start the fish tank process as far as, developing the biological, the beneficial bacteria, and, just stabilizing my tank, make sure everything is good, and making sure all the prior fish that I got all the little ones first, and then I got my big ones, so that I knew if I had a couple cases of ick breakout. I just had ick, and I had some, I thought it was some fungus or something on him, but I had some internal tapeworms or internal parasites, but I eradicated that just like I did the ick with raising the temperature and adding salt. In order to, there's a link down below from the King of DIY that explains this very well.
The stinger is actually called a barb.
And also Corey from Aquarium Co-Op, he explains it pretty well too, but King of DIY is the one I use to learn a lot, and it exacerbates the life cycle and allows those little balls of whatever to hatch from the soil or from the gravel or the substrate and make their way onto the actual fish. So that salinity kills the babies whenever they're in that vulnerable state. So just because you increase the water, the heat doesn't, you're gonna make the situation worse if you don't add salt. So anyway, that's just another piece of information that I randomly shared with you because this is random Robert's renditions, and I'm just full of random facts. But I try to put them in a manner, or present them in a manner that's that gives you a means to an end. So I want it to be beneficial, I want it to be useful, and I want it to be efficient, like I'm trying to keep this video. So now that I'm 32 years old, I have acquired a very, very fully stocked 90-gallon aquarium, standard, 18 inches deep, 4 feet wide, and like I said, I think it's 24 inches deep. And it's a sweet aquarium. I really enjoyed it. Oh man, this tank is super sweet. The fish, my discus, are awesome. The fact that I jumped into these, that's what really wanted me to get them. I went down the rabbit hole, like the one you may be on right now that got you here. And I just didn't fall in love with the hobby per se, because I reserve that for very, very special things in life, and like very, very rare things. But I really enjoy it. I find a lot of peace in it, and they're very personable fish. They're cichlids, so they're very, their eyes are big, so you can kind of personify them a little bit. Corey from Aquarium Co-Op was talking about how, you know, they have kind of the bigger the eye on the fish, kind of you can correlate that with the size of the fish and how you personify them a little more. So they're more personable, and their personalities are definitely unique. Like I have my cardinal tetras, and you know, they don't really have too much personality. The rams actually do. These are really cool fish. I'm very happy with them, and I'm so happy that you can keep them with the discus. They're really sweet, and I'm going to show the list of the discus that I have and all that, but they're pretty hungry right now. I haven't fed them yet. I'm going to go ahead and feed them. As I, you know, finish this, let me finish this. So I've also, along with discus that I've gotten into, I've also gotten into live plants. I'm keeping low-tech plants is what they call them. Anubias, crypts, an Amazon sword, a Java fern, and some Valsinaria. And I also have a little, what are they called? Anubias nano petite. And I have this one little stem plant. There's just one stem left, and I just decided to propagate it a little bit whenever its other 3 sisters died. I just decided to put this one here, and it's actually thriving. And then I have, you know, the stalks in the back for my... So now that you know a little bit more about me and where I'm coming from, you can gauge where to absorb the information I'm giving you. And about these plants, I'm a beginner, but I've learned a lot, and I've done a lot of research. I've been watching YouTube videos about aquariums and the hobby, live plants, a lot. So I'm not I'm not a master of anything. I'm a jack of all trades. So I try and be well-rounded and well-versed in many aspects of the hobby in order for me to, you know, bring them all together and make something happen. So with that being said, all the information I do get from these YouTube channels are all going to be linked below. I got Aquarium Co-Op, Tazawa Tanks, Fishtubers Aquatics, IFG, one of the locals. I need to talk to him and get with him. That'd be pretty interesting to see him. Dean, the guy who he breeds rams, Aquarium Co-Op, he's gone to his fish room several times. LR Bretz, King of DIY, Solid Gold Aquatics. I mean, there's plenty more. I just can't name them all, but anyway, they're all going to be in the description so that they can benefit you as well, because those are sources that I feel, you know who's judging them now. I feel that those are beneficial and would also be worth your time. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm done talking about this. I'm gonna, you know where I'm coming from now. I think effectively, and I've done it in a way that is concise and worth watching. It's bearable. So I'm gonna leave you with a little video of my fish being fed because they're hungry. And yeah, until the next video, guys, should be about either nutrition, like the plants, and the NPK, nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, and a couple of other those little doodads, or it's actually going to be about the introduction of this ram Alf into the aquarium. So I also introduced those 12 cardinals, so that may come up too, but more than likely it's going to be this guy and not the nutrients for the plants. So until that video, guys, I will talk to you later. Peace. Sweet.